and hello from Aotearoa, New Zealand. This is Glenys from the Key of Truth Academy, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the importance of self-love and the need for self-love in an age that is highly focused on everyone getting whatever they want any time of the day or night. And self-love is much more important than that. It's much more important than getting what you want. It's much more important than getting your hair done or your nails done. It's much more important than even your self-care practices. And that's because the concept of self-love is one, invisible, and so if you don't know where your self-love is at, then the way you can tell what your self-love is by looking at your external reality, and in particular looking at your house and your body and describing how they are or what they mean to you, and then seeing if that relates to your self-love concept. And if they're not the way that you want, or if they are the way that you want, then how does that relate to how you feel about yourself? So that's one way of understanding where your self-love concept is at. But the real importance of self-love is that we live in a mirror universe, a holographic universe. And so the reality that we create is created from our thoughts and beliefs, and is based on what we think of ourselves. So if we think of ourselves as a beautiful goddess living in light and love and beauty all day, every day, then that's going to be the type of reality that we focus on and aim to create. And conversely, if we think of ourselves as old, sick, tired, and, a failure, then that's also the type of reality that we're going to create. And so most people are sort of probably somewhere in the middle, sort of sometimes having good thoughts and sometimes having bad thoughts. And the ideal is obviously that you think better of yourself most of the time, instead of negative thoughts about yourself most of the time. So it's about accepting whatever thoughts you do have, but focusing on the positive. So the other reason that self-love is really important is that we are the only ones that are with us 24/7. No one else on the planet is with us all of the time. And so our relationship with ourselves is going to be extremely important for our moment-to-moment happiness. So if we're in a relationship with ourselves where we don't even know who we are, what we want, what we need, or what's going on, then it's going to be an existence that is very haphazard, and it may be random, and it's going to be harder to create a life that you want. Whereas if you're well aware of who you are, what you want and what you need, and are able to articulate that to yourself and to others, then you're going to have a much easier time creating the reality that you want. And so that's a few reasons why it's really important to focus on self-love. And then the obvious one is that you feel better. You feel better when you feel good about yourself and about what you're doing, and it makes you happier overall. And so that's another really good reason to focus on your self-love concept and thinking more positively about yourself. And so when you believe that you are worthy and that you deserve attention and time and effort and money, and that you have everything that you need to create the life of your dreams, then you're going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to believe in that and visualize that and do the work that it takes to get that. But if your self-concept is that you're never going to be able to do anything, you're never going to be able to achieve, you can't concentrate, you can't get things done, then that's also the reality that you're going to create. And so for those of us who are light workers and are here to focus on evolving the human consciousness around the planet, it's even more important for us to have a positive self-concept. And the opposite to positive self-concept is not self-hate. It's more likely to be a narcissistic, egotistical focus on self that's to the point of being selfish, to not think about others and only about self and only about what you want and need. And so that is needing to be a balance between thinking about self and thinking about others. And the maxim that I hold to is love your neighbour as yourself. So don't love yourself and not your neighbour, and don't love your neighbour and not yourself. So there's a balance. There's an equal balance between loving yourself and loving others, and aiming for win-win solutions in all interactions. So you're thinking about what's for the highest good of all, which includes yourself. So often people have the chronic habit of people-pleasing or overgiving, and that stems from past experiences, in particular trauma or unhealed wounds. And so we're wanting to find a balance between overgiving, between being selfish, and focusing on self to the exclusion of others. So you're wanting to think about yourself, think about others, and be in a balance between the two most of the time. And so that's going to be easier some days than others. Obviously in emergency situations where somebody is sick or there's been a death, then others will have more of your time and attention. And so when you do that consciously because you know there's a special need, but then you always need to come back to taking more time for yourself to recover, to recharge, and to think about what's needed to build yourself back up after giving away to others. And so it's this constant balancing act. You're never going to be all about yourself or all about others and never thinking about others and never thinking about yourself. Well, that's ideal. That's ideal, that you don't go to one extreme or to the other, that you stay in the middle as often as possible and consciously choose to either spend more time on your own or with others. And so it's about being conscious about what you're doing with your time and your thoughts and your beliefs around yourself, what you want and need on your daily basis, and who you're interacting with and why. And so it's about being aware of who you are, where you're at, and where you want to go, and who you want to do that with. And so it's this constant process, this constant reviewing, this constant contemplation about what's best for you, as well as the people around you. And so that's the importance of self-love. Lots of different ideas to digest there and think about. And on my TikTok channel, I have more self-love action-oriented material. And in this video, I just wanted to do an overview of why self-love is so important. And so I hope that helps. Mauri ora and soul blessings to you.